And Brazil versus Japan has wrapped up. Brazil have beaten them 2-1 with a beautiful Martinelli last minute winner. This is the breakdown, this is the talk, this is where we're at. First, I want to immediate start off, or immediate start off. I think Japan had a really good game today until their first goal. We're gonna talk about Japan first because I won't have much to say about Japan, but I have more to say about Brazil. So we're gonna get that in the second half. But Japan in the first half was the more football-like team, was the more fluid moving team, right? There was a lot of good movements between players, good 1-2 passes. The midfield was good. There were bombing attacks towards Doan. um, they felt more fluid and more likely to score in that first half. Brazil was very slow, very slow. The formation they were playing was confusing. I didn't really get what Carlo Ancelotti wanted to do in that first half, but in the second half he did find his stride, right? And I think Japan started to take advantage of where they saw Casemiro or where they saw the weaker people on the team. For example, Casemiro. They started the second Casemiro, because he was playing a little bit higher in that first half in these pockets here with Paqueta deeper. That midfield knew that if they had the ball and had a free counter attack, that Casemiro, the second you get past him, he wasn't going to get you, right? And even though Casemiro does come out with a goal today, in that first half, he was appalling. That was one of the worst Casemiro performances I've seen as a United fan. This is one of the worst Casemiro performances I've seen in general. Like, he just didn't look comfortable on the ball. He wasn't good, and obviously his legs are just not what they used to be, right? But until that first goal when Japan scored, in that second half, I don't know what happened to the same team. That same team in that second half were not the same team, right? They weren't the same players. They started playing a lot more defensive, and this is one thing about managers and about teams that I hate. I hate when teams, and I said this about Arsenal and Champions League fun. I hate when teams they have one play style or they have one set thing that they want to do, and then once they get that done, or once they get that plan done, there's no counter. There's no like, okay, if we are up or if it is 1-1, let's try and play it a little bit more expansive. It's no, we're up one, we're going to try and drag this out and try and hope for a counter attack, and we're not going to send that many people forward, right? And it does work for some people, like DR Congo versus Portugal. They did the same thing. They played back. They let Portugal come at them as much as they want, and their defense held firm. But Japan tried that, and it just wasn't the same. It just wasn't the same for them guys. They weren't the same people, and they did have a chance in that second half, like, on a counter attack. And Kamada, number 15, which this pass was staring me in the face. He's outside the box, running into the box. I don't remember who's on the left wing, but he has the ball, and all he has to do, because no one's near Kamada. All you have to do is put a nice, calm ground ball through the middle of the box, and Kamada either gets a shot off for Allison to save it or gets a goal. Sloppy pass, and that was Japan that whole second half. They were just sloppy. They were slow. Maybe it was tiring. Maybe it was just the quality off the bench wasn't the same as the quality that started. But evidently, they do lose. They do get out. But to go on to the Brazil side, to speak about Brazil in that first half, it wasn't awful. It was awful, right? Brazil in that first half, the first thing that I saw was, especially when it came to these three, when it came to Bruno Guimaraes, came to Casemiro, and came to Paqueta, right? It was, I'm so used to, or now I always assume whenever I see Casemiro in the team, he's always going to be the deepest lying center midfielder, right, or CDM or whatever. He's always going to be the deepest lying midfielder because of his legs, right? It's easier for Casemiro to have to be the one far back and have the players come to him, and then rather him chase the guys. And we saw that in the first goal. He's the one in the pocket. Bruno Guimaraes trying to get the ball to him. They make a sloppy pass in the midfield, and the second Sono gets past Casemiro, he's not getting him. The second he gets past Casemiro, he's not getting him. And the only thing Casemiro can do in that situation is either foul him or hope someone else comes and gets him. Right? And obviously someone scores, but if someone doesn't score, Casemiro he follows him outside the box, and that's a free kick for Japan. Right? It's just I don't know if Carlo Ancelotti doesn't trust Ederson to play in the midfield, but like your midfielders, or now because Paqueta and Casemiro are out, are either going to have to be Fabinho and Ederson, and that's generally just a boot. Fabinho is now just a bootleg version of our Casemiros. They're both old. They both have lost their leg. They're not the same midfielder they were before. They could eat up ground. They could do everything. Ederson, yes, Ederson is much younger. Ederson's 26. He could do the eating up ground part, but I don't know. Maybe he might have to go for a 4-2-3-1 next game, but that's something Carlo Ancelotti has to deal with in the future, right? But another thing in that first half that I was so pissed about, actually two things. One, the lack of trust for Ryan, or not the lack of trust for Ryan, but the lack of confidence that he has, and probably the lack of trust that they have in him. Because I felt like, and I think I can pull this up on Sofa Score. 1 second, Sofa Score. Yeah, but yeah, if we go to the way the attack was going, it was much weaker on Ryan's side, right? There was no confidence, or not no confidence, but not that much trust going to Ryan's side. Maybe that's a team thing. Maybe it's Ryan doesn't want the ball that much, or maybe obviously, or the obvious notion, we just want to get the ball to Vinicius Junior as much as possible, right? Let me go back to football. We want to get the ball back. We want to get the ball to Vinny as much as possible. And I was so pissed at Vinny in that first half because of how they was playing. He was sitting in these pockets here next to center backs, and they're whipping in crosses. They're whipping in crosses. I'm like, okay, if you want to whip in crosses, these aren't the people that, or one, the setup that they have, the setup that they had at the beginning was just these three, and these aren't the three people I want to whip in crosses to, right? In that second half, we did see Casemiro gander into the box, and what happens? A Gabriel cross a little bit outside the box hits Casemiro back post header, and that was high key, not high key, but that was poetic to me or funny to me because Gabriel, the guy that people are complaining about how he is, Arsenal's it's like Arsenal's corner threat, and people complain about how they play on corners, and Casemiro being probably arguably the second best set piece attacker behind Gabriel, those two connecting, I looked at it after a while and I was like, wow, this is weird, but it's calm. I like it, right? But in that second half, Vinny, Vinny, the second he saw somebody, or the second he saw Dona, or he saw whoever in front of him, the second he had a 1v1 where he knew no one was next to him, he clicked. He said, "Yo, I'm going past this guy," right? And that's what, and even Ryan started doing that more in the second half. It was just the confidence that kept on building and building in that second half after Casemiro goal, where it was like you could see the style of play and the expression that they wanted to play with. Because I remember on a counter attack, Vinny gets the ball, gives it to Endrick. Endrick gives it to Vinny. Vinny back to Bruno Guimaraes. I think it was from Bruno Guimaraes to back to Vinny, and Vinny gets a shot off. Even though the shot doesn't go in, that's what you want to see from Brazil. The expression, the expansion, the combination of play that we know that they have. And that was a beautiful showing in that second half. Obviously, Japan weren't as counter-attacking, so we didn't get to see their defensive inconsistencies as much, right? But still, great game from them all around. Obviously, good subs from Carlo Ancelotti. I think obviously he had to bring on Endrick because of Paquet's injury, but Endrick okay cameo. Gabriel Martinelli does get the winning goal, right? Is the current local hero for Brazil that they can dance for. But yeah, for this game, I think in that first half, Japan really came out and was the more controlling team. They did everything good. But in that second, not even the second half, after that goal, they started setting up shop, which makes no sense to me because you don't want to give this Brazil team so much time on the ball where they have to break you down because they were just coming in them in waves and waves and waves and waves, and it just, I don't know. But to move on, we will be doing two reviews in one video. It is Germany versus Paraguay. This game, I didn't get to fully watch this game as much. I didn't have my full focus on this game as much as the other one. I have been watching Germany games, and do have a lot of questions about Nagelsmann and what he's done, and a lot of people have a lot of questions on what he's done. And I was watching a Elias video, and one of the people in Elias, oh, one of the tweets Elias saw, I think they said something. I was like, yo, once you start looking at it more and more, it makes no sense, right? Once you start breaking it down more and more, this left side of Nathaniel Brown and Florian Wirtz, we all know where Florian Wirtz is at his best. Inside these pockets here, in these angles here, playing like as a two striker position in a sense, or playing a two cam position where we see him and Musiala do their best work in last year's Euros. And then Nathaniel Brown is a out and out wing back, right? Or out and out winger. If you look at his stats for Frankfurt, one second. We look at stats for Frankfurt. This isn't Nathaniel Brown like blazing video, but we look at stats for Frankfurt. He's a wide guy, right? He loves being wide. He loves being high. He loves crossing the ball in. And Nagelsmann said, throw it out the window. I'm gonna have Wirtz play wide, and I'm gonna have Nathaniel Brown play as an inverted fullback. Now, when the guy when Leah said that about that guy's tweet, I said, okay, everything's all wrong. Like something's wrong here, right? Nagelsmann has misprofiled and mispicked so many people, right? And he's picked so many people from pedigree and not from quality of play this season, right? And it pissed me off instantly when I saw the team. I didn't make a video about it because whatever, but it pissed me off instantly when I saw the team because Tom Bishop, one of their best and brightest young players, doesn't get picked. Leonard Call doesn't get picked, but Leon Goretzka gets picked. No, but yeah, Leon Goretzka gets picked. Leroy Sané gets picked. Rudiger gets picked. Manuel Neuer gets picked. And this isn't. And I'm gonna speak about each one of them individually, but to group a few of them, Leon Goretzka isn't playing a good game at. Leon Goretzka is not having a good performance at Galatasaray right now. Right, 43 games, 7 goals. This isn't Leon Goretzka from years ago. This is 30-year-old Leon Goretzka. He isn't good. You have to play someone else. You have to play Leonard Carl, or you have to play, I don't know, somebody else. You have to go get another right winger, right? Because we can't be comfortable with having this guy play right wing for us, and we can't be comfortable with when if Nicholas Schlotterbeck gets injured, our replacement is Rudiger, right? Who you replace him with? I'm blanking on German center backs right now, but there has to be somebody else that you can replace him with, right? And to get to Manuel Neuer, I love Manuel Neuer. Shout out Manuel Neuer. I love Manuel Neuer. Manuel Neuer is the greatest goalkeeper in my opinion. There's no one close to him. Everyone can say Buffon, everyone can say this. It's Manuel Neuer to me. And the whole time during the Champions League run and during the Bundesliga games, you can hear them say, "Oh, because of how good he was playing during the season, how is man? We have to convince Manuel Neuer to come out of retirement. We have to convince him to come out of retirement." No, we shouldn't have convinced him to come out of retirement. It's not, and it's not like Manuel Neuer is awful, dog shit. No, it's not. It's not that. It's that the guy is old. He's 40, and he. This isn't the same Manuel Neuer. You can even see with some of the goals that they're conceding. This is like this isn't vintage Manuel Neuer. It's not the same, right? And you could have done the same performance or even better with Noble or with or with Noah Atabulu or with Tom Biscoff or with somebody else, right? You don't he didn't have to bring these type of players on, right? These type of players, and then even in this game, subbing out Nemecha, you can be like, oh, Nemecha didn't have the best game, but in this whole World Cup, the best German player, most people would say, is either Undorf or Nemecha. Nemecha has been their best performing player, has been their most elite performing player. And taking him out, it's just taking him out for Leon Goretzka, not for somebody else, right? But for Leon, not for Antonio Stiller, but for Leon Goretzka. Not playing these other type of guys, right? You bring Maximilian Bayer, you don't play him. You bring Asson. I don't know how to say his last name. I was gonna say Asson, but when you bring Asson, you don't play him, right? Instead of okay, let me try and play Asson at right wing because Asson can play attacking forward. We say no. We're gonna keep Leon Goretzka. We're gonna keep Leroy Sané, right? And there's two people that I have to talk about this Germany squad that have been that I love watching, and I'm a fan of both of them. That their performances are awful. Jamal Musiala and Florian Wirtz. Jamal Musiala has not been the same since his injury. This isn't the same Bambi that we know and love, right? This isn't the same guy from last year, from the last year that was putting in work with him in Wirtz. This isn't the same guy, and it's evident. It's evident where Nagelsmann is playing them so differently. He's playing them out wide. I don't want Jamal Musiala out wide. I want Jamal Musiala in tight spaces where what his technical brilliance can show out, where he can do his little skills, he can do his little 1-2s, where he can play his best style of football. But no, we have said let's play Jamal Musiala out wide. It's uncomfortable for him. He's not the fastest guy, and people be like, "Oh, your winger doesn't have to be fast. Didn't have to be fast." No, but especially now, your winger has to be fast. Now a winger has to be fast. He has to be good. And Jamal Musiala is technically good, but Jamal Musiala is technically good in tight spaces, in small areas, right? Florian Wirtz, the misprofile of Florian Wirtz, allowing him to play as a left winger makes no sense to me. The fact that his heat map is so far left and is not a single bit inside because this guy is this because he's making Nathaniel Brown play in these positions makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me. Florian Wirtz hasn't been the same player since he recently signed for Liverpool, right? Maybe it's a confidence thing, maybe it's a player thing, maybe it's something. He's not feeling his best. But this isn't the Florian Wirtz I know. This isn't the Florian Wirtz we've seen. Forget I know we've seen, right? We've seen the technical brilliance from these guys, and Germany have now gone gone gotten knocked out in the round of 32 by Paraguay, right? You can be like they made out of the group, but it's Paraguay, and the group they had was so easy for them, right? The group they had was Ecuador, Ivory Coast, Curacao, and the only game they played good in was Curacao. Even though they beat Ivory Coast, this was their best performance overall. And then the second half was awful. It was awful by them. Germany are going down the same route of Italy, right? These guys have gotten grouped, round of 32 knocked out by Paraguay. They need to do the same thing Italy is doing right now. He's got to go. We gotta stop picking old people. We gotta stop fostering young players, and we gotta go back to how we got here. You gotta go back to the roots. How did you get here, right? How did you get here? Your tactics, your style, the grit and grind of play, your press. That's how you got here. Germany, that's it for Brazil. Germany have been knocked out. Congratulations to Paraguay. There wasn't much to say about Paraguay because I wasn't really, I was more just pissed at Germany. But Paraguay did play gay in CISO. Great performance from him this World Cup. Great performance from him this World Cup. He's signed to Strasbourg, but I think he can go to Chelsea. So again, he could probably go and play for Chelsea, but good performance from Paraguay, awful performance from Germany, great performance from Brazil in that second half, awful performance from Japan. We will be back. We'll be back for Norway, we'll be back for France, and we'll be back for more. Yeah.